Hi, I'm Tony Buffin with Human Cloud here at SIA's CollaborationX conference live in Dallas, Texas. I'm so excited to be speaking with Amy from Marriott. Amy, how are you, first of all?
I am really good. I've been here for 4 days. I am fully in conference mode. Everything's going well.
Yeah, we actually met here,
We did.
what, a couple of years ago?
I think it was 4 years ago.
4 years
It
ago.
was one of my very first years coming here.
That was my first year coming here.
I think so. I think it was mine too. And just a weird meetup where we ended up at dinner together at a really small,
Shout out to
intimate-
Dustin Talley.
Shout out to Dustin
Talley. He pulled us both under
connector of
under
all
his
the
wings,
people.
and he's tremendous.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, that's great. So, and you've been coming here since.
I have. Yes. Every year since.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Well, tell us about what your current role is, and it's recently changed. We talked about that earlier.
It has.
Tell me a little bit more about it.
Sure. So I had been over our contingent workforce program, both operationally and strategically. I've been lifted out of the operation and am now, my full title, mouthful, is Senior Director of Contingent Workforce Strategy and TA Process Innovation.
Well, all right. Yeah, there's a lot to that
I'm leaning
title.
into talent acquisition significantly more with a broader focus on contingent workforce at Marriott because it's a big part of our talent strategy. So I love that sort of has a carve out in our company, and I'm proud to be taking it on 3 months in. It's not been long, but I'm excited.
I mean, I'm excited for your role.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about, I spent a lot of time in HR, and as I shifted into this flexible workspace, I've been a big proponent of HR has to have a holistic view of talent. It can't just be your full-time.
Yep.
Oftentimes, anything that's not full-time, that's procurement. I don't really get involved. But when you think of all of the skills that come to bear in an organization, having someone have a full view of that is critically important because you make trade-offs between each of those. And that's really what your role has evolved into.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. It's thinking about it holistically.
Yeah.
And there are so many more talent channels in any company's ecosystem than most people ever really give a thought to. And so I'm really trying to stand up on my soapbox and kind of wave my arms and say, hey, like there's a lot happening here. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about the fact that, let's do the obvious ones. When you're at a hotel, a lot of times there may be a Starbucks on site or a restaurant that's on site. That's outsourced. That's talent that we want to have a restaurant or a spa at our hotel, but we've wholly outsourced that operation. But that's part of our talent ecosystem.
Yeah.
So how do we think about that, and how do we talk about that?
That's a great example, and it should absolutely be in your purview because it's connected to your brand. It interacts with your team. It's a part of your team, even if it's associated with another brand. But most organizations don't look at it that way.
Right.
They don't take that holistic view. And this sounds like it's a new step for Marriott, a new step for you.
I think there's been light awareness in different places. We're trying to drive general awareness. We want everyone to sort of think about it and go, oh yeah, okay. And so the more that we can build like a foundation for what are our worker categories? What types of workers are here? We have the outsourced departments. We have traditional SOW. You have agency workers and contractors. You have your FTEs. We have freelancers, influencers. Have you ever seen a Bonvoy influencer like traveling the globe? Like that's one of our worker categories.
By the way, I want that job.
Oh my gosh, right? Don't we
Who
all?
does it? Yeah.
I know we all saw it come up and we were like, I could quit and just do that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that the more that we drive that foundation, we prioritize the categories with a little flexibility. But as we do that, we then, as HR and TA, have a responsibility to introduce those to our HR partners, to our finance leaders, to anybody who's making decisions around the structure of their organization and how work gets done, and then give them the way to make a decision. Okay, you think you need an FTE. Let's talk about it. What do you really need done? Well, I need X, Y, and Z. Okay, well, actually, would you consider a consultant? We actually have had 3 consultants who have come through, independent consultants who have that type of skill set. Like if we could get to a point where we could be collaborative and be more forthcoming with all the different talent channels, I do think our organization and any organization would be very receptive to that.
Well, and as we were talking earlier, one of those categories is agentic.
Agentic,
it's
that's right.
leveraging AI.
How could I forget the agents? Yes, they're on the org
that's so
chart.
important. But if you don't have that holistic view, you don't think about it that way.
Correct.
And it's having that perspective is what enables you to really participate in what the future of work looks like.
That's right.
And that's I really believe, and I know you do too, this is where the future of work is going.
It is.
Tell me a little bit more about matching that up, where you see the future of talent and how organizations can align with making sure they're prepared for that and taking full advantage of how this is quickly evolving.
Yeah, I think, just like baby steps. We're a very large, complex organization. We certainly take the fact that we are a family brand like very seriously. So we're going to dip into it very incrementally. But I do think that organizations should start to figure out a way that they can introduce this type of automation and then intelligence into their structure. So we have a bot on our org chart right now. If you go to our Marriott careers site, we have Olivia, and she's there, and she's ready to help you apply for a job, and then she's going to help get your interview scheduled. You know how unbelievably helpful it is for the property leaders to not have to go back to their desk, like a front office manager. You want them on the floors with the associates. You don't want them standing at their desk trying to figure out when they can meet with so-and-so about the front office. But by having her named, her name is Olivia. She's on our org chart. She's part of our team, and we're grateful for her. It's not a scary, agent coming in to steal jobs. It's making our frontline workers more efficient. So figuring out what makes sense for you, and then building technology that is ultimately going to resonate and be beneficial to the right people, and setting that message and that tone. I think that organizations also should be thinking about the technology to almost like a decision tree. Like, if you are really going to do this, you need technology that's going to help people to figure out what kind of talent you have available, whether that's some sort of talent marketplace for internal talent mobility, which I completely love, and I love the idea of FTEs having more mobility and what's the word, flexibility.
Yeah.
I love the idea of having redeployable subject matter experts that are at our fingertips at any point, and what does the technology that we need to use look like to make all of that happen? That doesn't just happen because somebody's keeping a really good spreadsheet, and that's sort of what we're all trying to do right now.
Yeah, and it can be difficult to make that work. It also can be difficult to implement. You kind of talked about, hey, incremental, implementation of technology. What do you see as some of the biggest challenges to meeting this future of work and preparing the organization to embrace, peers like Olivia?
Oh man, I think that the messaging around it needs to create an atmosphere of trust.
Absolutely.
I think that's probably it. I think that everyone needs to go along for the ride. I think that if there is this general undertone of, I think management is building a bot that's going to replace all our jobs, and the tension, when you create tension and insecurity, that's not when you're most innovative, right? You're no longer thinking about how can I make the company better. You're thinking, am I going to have a job? And so being open and honest and transparent, being clear about what the innovations that you're looking at can and cannot do, taking feedback from the people and making them a party to the innovation that's coming in, and then allowing them to understand that if this is successful and you're a part of this, you'll be part of the next team that's going to be helping to support it and enhance it and grow it, and maybe moving into the next implementation of an agent, because you'll now be a subject matter expertise. You will have deployed something that was really transformative. So bringing an organization along for the ride, not being behind closed doors and worried that you're going to scare off the team. Go the complete opposite way. Create a lot of transparency around it.
Well, part of the challenge is you hear headlines about AI and displacement of workers or displacement of jobs, and that driving ROI. When the reality, and we were just talking about this, is AI can be leveraged to do the stuff that we don't want to do.
Right.
Like the stuff that, you said,
nobody wants to
inhibits
compare
our
calendars.
Innovation.
Nobody wants to compare
it's
calendars.
It's the worst.
Make it go away.
And all the back and forth,
Correct.
the emails.
Yes.
And there's already technology that makes it easier for us to just schedule with people's open time.
Sure.
But man, take that to another level, especially in HR. HR there's a lot of data that shows it's the furthest behind every function when it comes to digital transformation.
Sure.
And now we're in the most rapid, as I talked to Brian Evergreen yesterday, we're beyond digital transformation. We're in this automation transformation, or
Right.
this whole new age of how organizations transform, leveraging this autonomous capability. HR needs to lean into that because it does a lot of the stuff that we don't want to do.
Right. Absolutely. In the keynote for the CWS Summit, Keita Regan mentioned TAA becoming not talent acquisition, but talent and automation. And I thought, yep, that's exactly where we're heading. And then in a meeting yesterday, we were being asked about headlines coming your way in 2035. And the group that I was sitting with, we came up with 50% of jobs, or 50% of org charts are now represented by AI agents. And what does that feel like? What does that look like? You compare it back to like other revolutionary times, like the internet didn't ruin jobs, the industrial revolution didn't ruin jobs. Like there will be jobs, it will just be, we will all be moving at such a pace that just feels really, really ahead of where we are today. HR, absolutely. Like we are putting people first, right? That's what we do as human resources people. And we do need to feel comfortable. I think that's where we need to be even more transparent, is that there is going to be a human element to what we do, not just for your own team members, but then to the organization. Because you imagine if you work in any other department, I work in finance, but I think HR is now a whole bunch of robots. That doesn't feel good either. So it's not just your own teams. It's in, making everybody feel good about removing those annoying to-do tasks and just improving what the workday looks like.
Great. I'm sure you're familiar with the headline around Moderna moving their whole IT infrastructure underneath HR because they really wanted to lean into technology adoption across the organization needs to be driven by the human part of the organization and leveraged to maximize resource efficiency. And that's why I'm excited about your role, because you're taking that holistic view. You're incorporating everything from different types of humans to different types of technologies to optimize that to the best of your capability. Right. What are you the most excited about with that opportunity? And then what are you the most, if you want to share, scared of in taking that on?
So what I'm most excited about is I see like a future state, like a nirvana state, where we are one of those organizations that we have really done talent right. And I hope that it's a model for the future, because I would love to see a way to blend. Here's another like big high in the sky idea that I have, but I think we need to get to a point where we think about human services procurement. And I think that we did this whole like, is it better in HR and TA or is it better in procurement when we talk about people? And I'm going, we're missing the mark. There needs to almost be a vertical in the middle that doesn't exist today, where it's unique talent categories, different talent categories that are not your FTEs, but they are a flexible, future-facing workforce. It's contractors and all these other models, and then there's the agents that maybe exist within there. Maybe there's people in the middle who, let's take care of our FTEs, but maybe the bots sit as like another category within this middle ground services procurement. So what I'm excited about is the idea that we could bridge gaps. We can think about this more holistically. We can build something that makes everybody feel like their jobs are more innovative. The work they do is meaningful. The redundant tasks have been removed. They can be more efficient and strategic. It's so fun to be creative. And people can get really excited about innovation. And if you remove the barriers, allowing that innovation to really thrive. And then what does that mean for our guests? And what does that mean for, I know some of the work that they're doing that is AI enhanced is through the Bonvoy app. Like we want to be able to say like, oh, you're going to this resort and spa. Would you like to book a spa appointment in the app? Like, would you've done this the last 3 times you've visited with us. Like, here's a perfect treatment for you while you're there. Or you should really check out this restaurant and actually be able to make those reservations like right in the app. Like, that's just making everybody's experience better. Like I don't have to leave or call the restaurant or do something outside. And so, but the work to get there, if we can give IT more resources to move that innovation forward, we're impacting our guest experience and everybody wins.
Yeah.
So I just get excited about like all the potential.
Listen, I get excited about it too because I
Yeah.
am a hardcore like Marriott fan.
Thank you.
And lifetime titanium. Very proud of
Whoa,
that. Yeah,
that's a good
and
one.
for a while, just so much travel through work.
Sure.
And one thing I've really enjoyed, just a quick worthwhile tangent, is the app. Because I like being able, if I need something, just being able to send a text to the front desk
Yeah.
and not have to call or wait and get a response. And I love that it's async because I can go about the rest of my day.
Right.
And I can go back and look at my trips or download receipts if I'm traveling. And when I check out, I don't go to the desk. I just pack up my bag and leave.
Right.
But I know I can get the receipt so I can give it to T&E, whatever later.
Yeah. Meeting people where they are is so important,
Yeah.
right? People are on their phones and they don't want to have to go to multiple sources of truth. Like just everything we do should be trying with the ultimate end user at heart, whether that's internally or externally. And that's where I think everything is heading.
Yeah, we've trained ourselves to consume and leverage technology in that way. Our work experience should reflect that. The way that we interact with each other, the way that we engage with our own job or our deliverables should feel the same way because that's kind of how we trained ourselves.
Right.
So what are you the most excited about that's coming up next? In terms of, we talked about big visions, but maybe bring it closer to like the next year or so.
Oh gosh, in the next year.
Especially with this new job, like you look at the next maybe 18 months.
I'm really looking at both, really taking a very close look at our current tech stack and seeing how we can do more, ask more. We have big providers like HCM, we have smaller providers like VMS, and how can we influence the roadmap? How can we start to leverage some of the items that they're kind of showcasing? I will say, and I'll tie this into what you'd asked me before, was like, will I be willing to share what I'm afraid of? What I'm afraid of is that the regulations and the compliance around the use of these things won't come out fast enough for us to be able to make decisions. Because as a conservative, large organization, we have to be very thoughtful about when and where we can enter into things. But if there's guidance, it allows us to sort of move forward knowing where the line is. And I worry that we're going to hang back and delay innovation because we're waiting for guidance and regulation. I think it's important, and I wouldn't say that it's not, but I think that other smaller organizations who can potentially take bigger risks may move in an incrementally faster
Absolutely. Well, because
pace.
Policies and regulation fall so far behind the actual innovation
They do.
that if you wait for that, you're missing the innovation.
Yeah.
By the time the policies catch up, there's a whole new innovation already happening.
Right.
So I understand that's tough. But you if you're going to implement something, you don't want to have to redo it if the regulations change.
Yeah, and the nearest term thing, our partners, our team in China has Gig live. And they managed to actually create like a gig pool in China for their hotels where they have workers coming in and doing tasks. So they're not being fully trained on how to clean a room to brand standards, but they may be going in and vacuuming ballrooms or polishing glassware or something like that. And I have been quietly like pushing for that for years, and due to a whole bunch of other competing priorities, it hasn't gotten off the ground. But one of my like biggest missions right now is to pull off getting a proper gig workforce at Marriott in place in the US and Canada. And that would be like transformative.
It is great. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe if I put it here, maybe I'll send good vibes into the ecosystem. We just haven't, it's been competing priorities one after the next.
Of course.
And you don't want to put too much on the properties. The last thing you want to do is make it feel like corporate's just throwing one more thing at you. And so we need to be very intentional and make it like the automated interview scheduling where it actually did something that they're like, oh, thank you. Like, this
It
couldn't
made
have come
things
soon
better
enough. Yes.
rather than created transformation that exhausted or overwhelmed them.
Correct. One more
in the
platform they
implementation.
have to learn, or one more, SOP they have to follow. Like, forget it. It's got to only be cool stuff. Cool stuff only.
So we're connected. Of course, I'm going to follow your journey. But if people want to get in touch with you, they want to learn more about this or whatever else is going on with Marriott, where do they go?
I'm on LinkedIn, so you can find me on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
That's my channel. And then Marriott Careers.
Yeah.
We just launched within the last year a brand new, beautiful careers site that is You can find jobs by brand, by different categories. If you're interested in learning about culinary at Marriott or spa, it's all in there. And then we also have our flexible jobs in there. We direct source for our temporary positions right on the career site.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so very proud of that. And we have our bot sitting there, and Olivia, part of our org chart.
So they can go to Marriott Careers and meet Olivia.
They could go and meet Olivia. We have people who actually love working with her so much they've asked to meet her when they've arrived at the organization.
Oh, really?
That is legitimate.
Wow.
So yeah, you can have it can feel real personal.
I like that. I
Yeah.
definitely think
Does
now
not have
just
to be
from this
unhuman.
conversation, lots of people are going to go and meet Olivia.
I think so.
That's
I think
great.
so. Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining me,
Thank
Amy.
you for having me.
I'm glad we were able to
Always a
bring
pleasure.
this full circle after 4 years.
Yeah, kind of feels
And
kismet.
I'm super excited for your new role.
Thank you.
Let's stay in
Thank you.
touch and we'll learn more.
We will. Thank you.
Thank you.